What is happening today, traders? We're going to be getting into a couple stock tickers and crypto. I'm going to get that in there for you guys. BTC, even though it's not doing anything right now. Happy Juneteenth. It's a federal holiday for you guys. I've been busy all day, but I am here now, and I appreciate you and every single one of my 6 subscribers and climbing. We were at 5 last video, so I appreciate you guys very much. Please, before we start, if you enjoy the content, I try to be as goofy and bubbly while being personable and informative. Please drop a like and drop a sub. That way I can continue and we can grow a investor community. For me, I'd like to invest in you guys, and I'd like to develop a community, a free community, not this paid Discord. I think that's the silliest thing ever. I just want to meet people that are like for like, who also have a passion for investments. So let's get into the first stock ticker, which is Upstart, guys. Upstart is freaking schnasty. I'm telling you, you have a nice breakout of this horizontal neckline on nice volume while getting a daily golden cross. Well, give me a second. Just give me a doggone second, guys. While getting a golden cross on the 4 hour, while getting a, oops, that's the daily. We already saw that. Gotta be a dummy. While almost getting a golden cross on the weekly. And you see this green line down here? That is a flip green on the MACD for the first time since, you guessed it, 2024 of last year. And let's take that measured move, guys, so you can see what we did last time. We got a green weekly flip on the MACD here. We did almost 400%, 322% on Upstart. Now that is nasty alone. I'm not saying we're going to do that because, of course, none of this is financial advice. However, what I'm saying, guys, is this stock is potentially primed for a move in the future. And if you can do your own DD and find out a good spot to get in this trend line, then you can get rich, right? That's the goal. I don't think anyone does stocks not to get rich. But let's take this measured move of the neckline here. So this is a pretty much pitch perfect inverse head and shoulders with a high volume breakout. And so the measured move takes you right around $95, $96, and that would break you out of this pennant. So what I think is likely, what can happen here in the next few weeks as the entire tech basket starts to look more and more bullish. I know we talked about Sofi, Tesla even looks all right. It looks like the tech basket is priming for a nasty move because this neckline is, I mean, support, resistance, resistance, support, resistance. And so now we're going to have to see what happens around $72, guys. But before we jump ahead of ourselves, there is actually a price gap on the daily. So if you were looking for a potential entry, this gap is it, guys, because you have a gap down at $54 that could, and you could also come down and test this daily golden cross. Of course, we would love to enter there as well. But I think first you're going to come back down and fill this. And if you don't, great, right? Not so much great for the people who got left behind. But Upstart, guys, Upstart looks nice. Let's get into the next stock, and that is good old Amy. AMC. AMC looks primed when you look at the monthly Bollinger Bands. And so this is my whole thing with AMC and GameStop and how beaten down these stocks have been. Primarily AMC, right? But if I pull up the monthly Bollinger Bands, if you know what the Bollinger Bands, drop a comment. But as they constrict, it shows that price is narrowing. Price is tightening. Think of a band, right? The more you constrict a band, when that band breaks, price action breaks. Now, it doesn't say if it's going to break to the upside or the downside. All it says is that price is going to make a volatile move. And this is the tightest you've been on the monthly Bollinger Bands, guys, since at least 2019. I mean, there hasn't been another time like it where you are constricting at that velocity, because this is pointed pretty much directly down and directly up. And just to give you some perspective, I mean, let's do the 8 ball almost. Let's see. What happens to a stock when the monthly Bollinger Bands tightening? Let's just do tight. Tight, 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 tight. And the monthly Bollinger Bands are tight. So this is going to give you the AI portion, right? Because I don't know everything. We're going to break it down for you guys. It says first, low volatility environment. The bands are tightening when the stock price has been trading in a narrow range. So that's like the rubber band, guys. You're tightening. Potential for a breakout. After periods of low volatility, stocks often experience volatility expansion, leading to a breakout or breakdown. This is sometimes referred to as the squeeze, a term popularized by trader John Bollinger. So, this trader who created the Bollinger Bands also referred this term squeeze. And this was his um, indicator to find stocks that were primed for the squeeze, right? Longer term implications. Since the monthly chart, any breakout can have long term implications, possibly lasting several months. It's the calm before the storm. So, this is just a kind of indication of what people might do, right? Set alerts, look at the other local indicators, and so that's where you start to look at the fact that AMC is looking at a potential golden cross on the daily. If you can mount the 50-day moving average, you're looking at a potential quarterly cross for the first time since 2021, and that would be tremendous. That's why we need GameStop to stop fooling around. We need GameStop to turn around and go, because that will take AMC with it. And if that happens, you could potentially see one of the nastiest recoveries in all of history. I'm not saying that this is going to happen. This is just my own drawn up picture imagination. If this plays out the way that I think it could, uh, inevitably, these gray lines are gap fills. I think you're going to fill them eventually. I don't know when. I don't know how, what's going to break, what kind of news. But I think it's overdue. I think it is going to find its retail base again, and people are going to fall back in love with the movie theaters, just like they were in 2021. People say history isn't the same, it doesn't repeat, but it does rhyme. And so I'm ready for it to rhyme. Let's get in to our next stock here, and that is none other than the one I have been touting for the last month, and that is Sofi Technologies. So SoFi had a nice descending, broadening wedge, and you could possibly see it as the same inverse head and shoulders that Upstart had. For me, I was a little precautious with SoFi because this also looks like a rising wedge pattern that would take you to the abyss of the Diablo. However, you have a nice breakout on nice volume. This is the highest volume you've had in this range here, which you'd like to see towards the top. If it was the other way around, I'm very transparent. I would say that this thing looks like it's going to come back down, guys. But it doesn't. You've had the highest volume in your stock since, when was this? April. Since everything with the word that rhymes with sheriff occurred, and the stock dumped at volatile levels not seen since World War II. And so what you'd like to see is that you are above every single local resistance except for this one at $17, and I would say probably $16.50. This previous top would be resistance to look for. Once you get past those two, if you do, of course nothing's guaranteed, you get to the gap fill here. Now your full price target on the gap fill would be around 17.92, and then you can start to dream of $20 in the top of this trend line from this bear channel, or sorry, bull channel. Duh. Top of this bull channel since 2022. You've been in this thing doing the nasty, doing the dirty. Um, Inevitably, you do have a gap fill down here at $11 that I think you will fill sometime in the future. So definitely do not get caught bag holding. Take profits, guys. Of course, none of this is financial advice. I'm just a stupid trader who likes to take risky risk and take profit, but don't get caught lacking, guys, because that's the whole preface behind my channel being called Traps Trades is throughout this whole retail movement and this whole revolution almost kind of change of the stock market and how retail behaves within the stock market and how everything is traded on Wall Street. You've seen this great enlightenment of average day people who can now use these tools uh, to earn their own honest living on the stock market. But at the same time, you've also seen a lot of people misled and a lot of people saying hold forever, it'll never, like, don't take profit. And I think that is the silliest thing that you could ever hear, because inevitably you have to do what's right for your family. You never know what's going to happen. People have degenerate and gambling personalities, and what you might put more than you can afford to hold all the way back down to $9, right? So do what's good for you and your family. Be selfish. The stock market does not care about nobody. It does what it wants. So, Bitcoin. On the daily, you are within this descending pennant here, descending flag. And the profit, well, profit target if you took puts, but I never take puts because I'm not that guy. But the target for that, see how you do that? Just take from the top to the bottom of that wedge there, and you do it from the bottom of the flag. And that confluence takes you to the bottom of this wedge. So I think that is the most likely scenario for Bitcoin, um, as it looks like it's just trading in no man's land. Maybe you get a bounce off the 50-day. I think that would be nice, but I think what Bitcoin is due for, because it's kind of overextended, just trading in no man's land right here, you would expect it to come down and test this wedge and then find some kind of bid, some kind of bullish momentum back to the upside. But what I don't like also is you are below the 50 and the 200-day moving average. You actually tested it, and now you're forming some kind of doji on the 4-hour. I don't love that. However, you are about to cross green on the MACD. It's first time since 6:15, so maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is going to break to the upside. Oftentimes they don't, but maybe this is the time they do, and maybe we get some kind of bullish news. I think in terms of building a position, it's much, much more safe and intelligent to purchase down at the low to high $90,000 range. If I was to take a position in Bitcoin, I'm not going to. I got my position in crypto. I'm holding. I think it's going to make a higher move and break the all-time high at 112, and I think it'll go much, much higher than that because we still have not hit the euphoric move that everyone is expecting, and maybe that's when it dumps. I don't think so. Crypto's been pretty cyclical and pretty in line with the fear and greed index. I believe that's all I have for you guys. Today we went over Upstart, Sofi, AMC monthly Bollinger Bands, and then Bitcoin USD. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I will be back tomorrow playing on that. Please, like I said, if you enjoyed the content, drop a like, drop a sub. I'll be here for a while, guys. So um, go outside, touch grass. Happy Juneteenth, and peace.